Right, we're going to make a big spider toy. Need a plastic bottle. Any bottle will do. The only difference between these two is that one's got 5 little knobbles, this one's got 6. And I'm going to use the 6 because I want to. Okay, you need an old battery. What size is it now? LR20 or a D or an AM1. It's not going to do anything as far as electricity goes, you just need it for the weight. So an old one is handy. You need a toothpick or cocktail stick or a match. You need one of them later. You need a couple of rubber bands, some sticky tape, pen, scissors. Oh, we'll need a knife as well, sharp knife, I haven't got that. And that's about it. I've got this idea from Arvind Gupta, one of his videos, and I've just made a small change to it for my own purposes. Okay, first thing we're going to do is cut the bottle up. Probably don't need to mark it up, but I'm going to just for make it easier to follow what I'm doing. Right, I'm going to make a spider, so we need 4 legs. This is the reason I quite like having this here, because we can have 1, 2, 3, 4 legs, face at the front, tail at the back. I don't think spiders have tails. Or alternatively, you could turn it a little bit and you could have 2 little eye knobbles there, and the legs coming out that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So make a decision. I'll go that way. So, just looking at that, no idea what that was that just fell over in the background, but I'm not going to worry about it. You'll notice I'm not being that worried about making them absolutely straight. That's because I'll probably trim them later when I've finished anyway. Okay, let's make a decision. Where's the front going to be? Let's say the front's going to be here somewhere. I'll draw a couple of eyes on it just for reference. Okay, so that means front legs 1, 2, 3, 4. We want 8, don't we? So let's split them in 2. Front will probably have a couple of little fangs. And at the back I don't think we'll have anything. That's given us a rough idea. Check, make sure the camera's still recording. Oh yes, that's good. My camera has a nasty habit of changing its mind halfway through. Okay. Going right the way up to where there's a natural line or a ridge around there. Anybody notice I subtly turn the scissors upside down? Or the right way up to be exact, I was using them upside down. Have 8 legs. Don't know what that rubber band's doing there. Left over from the previous project. Right, spider. Next, we want to bend the legs a bit. There was a bend in the old bottle, which was just there. We take that as a measuring point, and we'll also bend that. So that's, yeah, so it looked like a leg when we finished. So bend, bend, stay still, bend, 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 bend. So that's our basic spider. Let's bend them a bit more. Fangs. Okay, basic spider. Right, need to poke a couple of holes in it. Personally, I would say ideally you'd use something hot to melt a hole through, because that would make sure the plastic wouldn't split. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I shall use my sharp tool. Okay, we need a hole just about here somewhere. That's between the middle of those legs. Same on the opposite side. We actually need to open that hole up just a little bit. I'll use this screwdriver for that. As I say, if you're allowed to use something hot to melt a hole through, I'd recommend that instead. You also need a hole at the back here. poke that one through there. Okay, so that's all the holes. Next, the battery. What we need is a couple of rubber bands. The rubber band will be stretched across there with a couple of pegs on the outside to hold it in place. So it needs to be that sort of size rubber band. That one looks a bit smaller. That one looks a bit smaller. That's handy. Let's try and find some the same size. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use those two rubber bands. I'm going to attach them to this. Just need a bit of tape. To be a line up there, so that might be a handy place to line up one of the rubber bands. On the opposite side. The other one. This will become clear in a few minutes. Because that's going to spin round. Inside the spider. Now, a little modification I'm going to do compared to the one that Arvind Gupta did is I'm actually going to add a couple of wheels on the outside. We're going to do some cutting now. My protective cutting mat on the table so I don't cut through the table. This is a base off of a pizza. All it is I want a bit of foam, and this just happens to be a handy bit of foam. I need to have a circle, which that will do. So if I just okay, cut me discs. What are we going to do next? What we want to do is stick them on the outside, because what I've noticed is when I wrap the string around it without the wheels on there, it tries to, well, the string gets in the way, whereas if I put wheels on it, it keeps the string out of the way and it should run. So we're going to need some hot glue, my favourite. We also need to make these have some sort of a grip, so I'm going to stick some balloons, or at least cut some balloons up and stick them around the outside to give them a bit of extra grip. A balloon. Let's cut it into strips. See if we can make them fit. to make them have a little bit of extra grip. From previous experience, foam wheels on their own just don't grip very well. So I might as well do this straight away. There we are, foam wheels with rubber tyres. Next thing we want is to mark out the centre. To be honest, it doesn't matter if it's not perfectly in the middle. If they're off centre, it'll give the spider an interesting motion rather than being an even movement. What can I use to make a hole in the middle? That sounds like a very simple question, but we'll just go for that for now. One side needs to be big enough to go over that, so we might open that up just a little bit. Bigger still. I'm going to need my hot glue gun in a minute. So it'll break until the hot glue gun's warmed up. Right, hot glue gun's warmed up. So we need to get the rubber bands. I've got a little hook here. Through the centre of that wheel. If I just somehow come over here, just so I don't lose the ends. Okay, plenty of hot glue there. Cool down. Same on the other side. Okay, lots of hot glue on there. You can see I'm pulling the rubber bands to help hold it all together while it cools down. Right, next actually before I do that I'll wrap the string around it. No, silly boy, Can't do it that way. Need to poke that through the hole first. Right. I expect if we tie a little knot in the end of that, it may not pull through so quickly. Tape something to grip onto. No, it's not very good tape. It's not my usual tape. And that wasn't supposed to happen either, was it? Okay, let's wrap some string around it. You have to do this before you put the rubber bands through the sides of the spider. Right. Now, get hold of the rubber bands, pull them through there, and this is where we need our cocktail sticks or matchsticks or anything else. Same on the other side, through the hole. You don't need to use a whole cocktail stick, you can cut them shorter if you want. Now the idea is, as you pull that, the rubber band's actually tightening up. Anybody notice the deliberate mistake? It's going backwards. What do we do about that? For a start, we let it undo. Take them off, turn it over the other way up, look it through. Again. There we go. And what you do now is decorate it. You can either spray paint it or put coloured sticky tape on it. Or if you've got coloured pens, you can colour it in. And trim these a little bit. Off to the kitchen, I guess, just to demonstrate on a bigger space. Okay, in my kitchen. Light conditions aren't perfect and I still haven't painted him. You can see the general idea, and you can see because the wheels aren't perfectly circular, he has a bit of a wobble to him, which makes him look a little bit more interesting. that's what I made earlier.